The Fox and the Enchanted Fir. In a remote corner of the frozen forest, where snowdrops fell in silent whirlwinds and the streams froze under the winter cold, lived a fox named Tizon. His reddish fur shone like fire against the white snow, but his heart was full of a different coldness. Tizon was known among the animals for being cunning and lonely. He never shared his food and showed no interest in others. In this world, one must take care of oneself, he used to say. If you like stories and fantasy, I invite you to subscribe to our community to continue enjoying fables and tales on our channel. One night in December, while the forest seemed to sleep under the full moon, Tizon wandered in search of something to take to his mouth. The winter had been hard, and resources were running low. As he sneered near a light, a strange flash caught his attention. Approaching, he discovered a majestic owl, whose branches seemed to be adorned with golden lights, as if the stars themselves were lit. "How wonderful!" exclaimed Tizon. Suddenly, a deep voice resounded from the tree. "Welcome, traveler. I am the enchanted owl." The fox retreated, surprised but enchanted. "What kind of trick is this?" The owl, with its serene voice, replied, "There is no trick. Every Christmas, I have the power to grant a wish to those who deserve it. But this gift is not granted without first showing that the true meaning is understood." Tizon's eyes lit up when he heard the plea. "Then, I want an eternal feast," he said without hesitation. "I want plenty of food, enough to never be hungry." The owl kept silent for a moment. "That wish is possible, but first you must complete 3 missions. Through them, you will learn what Christmas really means. If you manage to complete them before midnight on the 24th, your wish will be fulfilled." Although Tizon was not enthusiastic about the idea of working for his reward, he accepted the challenge. The first mission was to help someone without expecting anything in return. The enchanted owl told him that his first task was on the other side of the forest. There lived an old rabbit called Gray Ears, who was too weak to look for. "Why should I worry about an old rabbit?" Tizon protested. "It's none of my business. The first step to understanding Christmas is to learn to give without expecting anything in return," he replied. Unwillingly, Tizon set out. After several hours, he arrived at the Gray Ears burrow. Inside, he found the curled, weak, and hungry rabbit. The fox suspected, thinking how easy it would be to return to the abbey and lie. But something in the rabbit's gaze, a mixture of hope and despair, stopped him. With effort, gathering some frozen berries and tender herbs that he had found on the way. When Gray Ears saw the food, his eyes were moved. "Thank you, young fox. I don't know how I'll be able to return." For the first time, Tizon felt something strange in his chest, an unknown warmth that for the first time flooded his heart. Now the second mission was to forgive and reconcile. The next task led him to face an uncomfortable chapter of his life. Years ago, Tizon had caused problems to a squirrel called Avalana, stealing her provisions and scaring her for no reason. Since then, the squirrel has lived in constant fear. "Your second mission is to offer sincere apologies and seek reconciliation," said the rabbit. "Excuses? Why should I worry about something that happened so long ago?" The fox grunted. "Christmas is also about healing old wounds and building bridges." Tizon sighed but obeyed. When he reached the Avalana tree, the squirrel saw him with distrust, hastily collecting the few nuts he had. "I didn't come to steal from you," said Tizon clumsily. "I came to apologize for what I did in the past. It was wrong, and I'm sorry I hurt you." To show his sincerity, he left in front of her a small sack of nuts that he had found on his way. The squirrel blinked, disbelieving. "I accept your apologies," Tizon replied softly. "Thank you for this." The fox felt lighter, as if something heavy had disappeared from his shoulders. The third mission was to share what I value most, and this was the most difficult. For the fox, the squirrel asked Tizon to find something that he deeply appreciated and offer it to someone who needed it more. After much thought, Tizon remembered the old and warm blanket he had in his burrow. It was his most precious good, the only thing that comforted him on cold nights. That night, as he crossed the forest, he found a small lost deer trembling under the snow. Tizon's heart tightened when he saw the indefensible squirrel. Without thinking, He covered the animal with his blanket and accompanied it to a nearby refuge. The squirrel looked at him with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Fox. I will not forget your kindness." Tizon, although cold for having given him his blanket, felt an inner warmth that no material possession could match. The real gift. When he returned to the enchanted deer, he no longer thought about the feast he had desired at first. Something inside him had changed. "You have fulfilled the 3 missions, Tizon. Now I can grant you your wish." The fox denied with his head. "No need. I have learned that true wealth is not in what we possess, but in what we give." The deer shone brightly, and a warm light enveloped Tizon. "You have understood the true spirit of Christmas. Your reward will be a heart full of joy and the friendship of all those you have helped." Since then, Tizon has become a symbol of kindness and generosity in the forest. Every Christmas, he traveled the snowy trails, bringing hope and warmth to those in need. And although he did not have an eternal feast, he never felt alone or empty again. Moral: the true meaning of Christmas is not in receiving, but in giving with the heart. Only by sharing and caring for others do we find true happiness. If you have enjoyed these stories and have been carried away by fantasy, I invite you to subscribe to our community to continue enjoying fables and fantasy tales. Until next time.